Hey everyone, it's Linu. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another video coming to us from The Painful Explainer, and this is every athlete who died in front of their fans. How horrific is that? That sounds horrifying. Make sure to go show The Painful Explainer some love, and let's get right into it.
The beating that changed baseball.
I am actually
on August 16th,
scared to watch
thousands
this.
of fans packed New York's Polo Grounds to watch the Cleveland Indians face the Yankees.
Cleveland
Chapman
Indians?
was
I've never
Cleveland's
even heard of
star
that team.
shortstop, known for his quick
But
reflexes
this is
and
1920s
exceptional
though.
fielding. The afternoon game moved at a typical pace until the fifth inning when Chapman
Okay.
stepped to the plate.
Okay.
Yankees pitcher Carl Mays threw with a distinctive submarine delivery, releasing
A
the ball from an unusually
submarine
low
delivery.
angle. The ball, dirty and scuffed from previous plays, was difficult to see against the late afternoon shadows. Chapman leaned in slightly, preparing for the pitch.
Not very
The
white
baseball
anymore.
struck his head with such force that the sound echoed through the stadium. Many spectators, including the umpire, thought it had hit Chapman's bat. For a moment, Mays fielded what he believed was a bunted ball and threw to first base. Chapman took several steps toward first base,
the
then
heck
suddenly
happened?
stopped. He dropped to his knees, a look of confusion crossing his face. Blood began to
Wait,
seep
you know what I just noticed? They don't have helmets on. They have just hats on.
his left ear. Players from both teams rushed to his side as he collapsed onto the dirt infield.
Oh,
Team doctors reached him
no.
within seconds. The crowd fell silent as Chapman was helped to his feet, wobbling and disoriented. He attempted to
Okay.
walk off the field with assistance, but couldn't maintain his balance. At New York's St. Lawrence Hospital, doctors discovered his skull was fractured. The impact had driven bone
shattered
fragments
his-
nearly an inch into his brain. Surgeons performed an
No.
emergency operation, removing a piece of his skull to relieve pressure. Chapman never regained consciousness. At 4:40 a.m. the following morning, he was pronounced dead. The 29-year-old became the only player in Major League Baseball history to die from an injury sustained during a game.
Oh,
The tragedy
my
changed baseball
goodness.
forever. The league soon banned the spitball and other pitches that doctored the ball. More
Okay.
importantly, umpires began regularly replacing dirty balls with clean ones,
Okay,
making them
that's
easier for
good.
batters to see. A
Yeah.
practice that continues to this day. Goalkeeper
What
blocked.
about, okay, but like, what about the helmet? Did he have a helmet on when that happened? How did that hit his head? Oh my gosh.
Gone. On November 29, 2017, spectators
Goalkeeper
filled the small gymnasium
blocker
in Barras,
gone.
Brazil, to watch a
Oh,
regional
we're in
futsal
Brazil.
match.
Okay.
Santos Sousa was the 38-year-old goalkeeper for Flamengo de Piripiri, a team competing in the local amateur league. The indoor
Okay.
arena was humid, the crowd energetic as the match
Ugh.
entered its final minutes.
Hot and
The
humid
referee's whistle
arena
cut through the
inside.
noise. A penalty had been awarded to the opposing team. Santos Sousa positioned himself between the goalposts, bouncing
Okay.
slightly on his toes. His
Okay.
teammates stood silent at midfield. The opposing striker approached the ball with measured steps. The shot came hard and fast, aimed at the center of the goal. Santos
And
Sousa
he-
didn't dive. Instead, he stepped forward, making himself large, and blocked the
Oh.
ball with his chest. The impact was
Oh.
solid but unremarkable.
Okay.
The ball deflected harmlessly away. The crowd erupted in
Dang,
cheers.
he just
Santos
blocked it
Sousa
with his
raised his arms
chest.
in celebration. His
Okay.
teammates rushed toward him, congratulating him on the crucial save. For a few seconds, everything appeared normal.
Fine
Then,
and
without
dandy.
warning, his expression changed. A look of confusion crossed his face. He reached out to a teammate who caught him as his legs gave way. His body
What
went
is
limp as
happening?
he collapsed to the court floor. The celebration instantly turned to panic. Players from both teams signaled frantically for medical help. A team doctor reached him within seconds and began CPR. The
What
gymnasium
the
fell
heck
silent.
happened?
Children in the crowd were ushered outside as the medical team continued resuscitation efforts. For nearly 20 minutes, they fought to restart his heart. Paramedics arrived and took over, applying a defibrillator. The electric shocks caused his body to jolt, but his heart showed no response. Despite their desperate
Goodness,
efforts,
what was
Santos
it, a
Sousa
heart
never
attack?
regained consciousness.
What
He was
happened?
pronounced dead at the scene. Medical examiners later determined he had suffered sudden cardiac arrest, likely triggered by commotion cordis, a rare but fatal disruption of heart rhythm caused by a precise impact to the chest wall at a critical moment in the cardiac
Oh
cycle.
my
Lightning sudden
goodness.
strike
That
on
is
the pitch.
terrifying.
On October 10th, 2018, dark clouds gathered over Banyumas, Indonesia, as two
Okay.
local teams competed on a municipal football
No,
field.
we're doing, okay.
Raharja, a 35-year-old midfielder
Soccer
for FBI
again.
Banyumas, moved across the pitch with the confident stride of
Or
a
football,
veteran
depending
player.
on where
the weather
you
had
live.
been threatening all afternoon, with humid air and distant thunder, but officials allowed the match to continue. In the 70th minute of play, light rain began to fall. Players
Okay,
glanced
it's
upward,
just
but
rain.
the
We're
precipitation
fine.
seemed manageable. Spectators opened umbrellas as they continued watching from the sidelines. No one recognized the danger as the storm intensified rapidly. At precisely 4:17
That's the type of
p.m.,
weather we've
a
had in
brilliant flash
Cali
illuminated
lately.
the entire pitch. The bolt struck without warning. Video footage later showed the lightning hitting just above the center of the field.
Oh my
Electrical current
gosh.
dispersed across the wet ground. Raharja, positioned near midfield, took the full impact.
Oh
His
my
body convulsed instantly and
gosh.
fell backward. For a moment, other players didn't realize what had happened, assuming he had
Just
slipped on the
got
increasingly wet surface.
hit
Then
by
someone shouted for
lightning.
help. Players from both teams rushed to his motionless form.
Did they get
Raharja lay
shocked
perfectly
too?
still, his jersey smoking slightly from the intense heat.
No
Medical staff reached him within
way.
seconds. His pulse was weak and erratic. Burns marked his chest and left shoulder where the current had entered his body.
Oh
The
my
rain intensified as
gosh.
paramedics performed CPR on the muddy field. An ambulance arrived 7 minutes later. Raharja was rushed to Banyumas Regional Hospital as teammates and spectators watched in stunned silence.
Yeah,
Inside the
I would
emergency
be
room,
just
doctors found
at a
severe
loss of
internal
words.
damage. The electrical current had caused severe disruption to his cardiac rhythm.
Oh
Despite
my
aggressive
gosh.
resuscitation efforts, including repeated defibrillation and emergency medications, Raharja's heart could not be
Just
stabilized.
couldn't
The electrical
get it
burn
back on
pathway
and
had
stable.
created irreversible damage to his cardiac tissue.
Yikes.
At 5:42 p.m., just 85 minutes after being struck,
He was
Raharja was pronounced dead. Meteorologists
so
later confirmed the
sad.
bolt had delivered approximately 300 million volts of electricity through his
No
body,
way.
far more than any
300
human
million
could
volts?
survive. The platform dive
Holy
gone wrong.
crap.
On July 29, 1983, the Commonwealth Pool in Edmonton, Canada was filled with spectators attending the World University Games.
Oh, I love
Chalabashvili,
watching
a 21-year-old
diving.
Soviet diver, was considered one of the most
This
promising
is one of my
talents
favorite
in the
things to
sport.
watch in the
His
Olympics.
specialty was the 10-meter platform, where he regularly
32
executed dives of
feet.
the highest difficulty with seemingly effortless precision. For his fourth dive of the competition, Chalabashvili prepared to attempt a reverse 3.5 somersault in the tuck position. One of the most
Reversed.
challenging
Okay,
dives
so like
in the sport.
backwards.
He stood at the edge of the platform, concentrating intensely.
How do you even
The
do that?
crowd
You
fell
jump
silent as he
out
began his
and
approach.
flip back?
His takeoff from the platform appeared normal. He
I
gained
know, I would
appropriate
hit
height
my
and
head.
initiated his rotation. But something went wrong in midair.
Oh,
Chalabashvili's
God.
body opened up slightly too early from the tight tuck
Oh,
position.
no.
This critical error threw off his rotation speed. As he descended toward the water, it became clear he wouldn't complete the required rotation.
Oh, shoot.
Instead of entering
Okay.
the water vertically, Chalabashvili struck the back of his head directly on the concrete platform.
No.
The sound of the impact echoed through the suddenly silent
Oh,
arena.
my God.
His body fell limply into the pool.
Oh, no.
Blood immediately clouded the water around
Oh,
him.
my
Fellow divers
gosh.
jumped in to assist as medical personnel rushed to the scene. Chalabashvili was unconscious when they pulled him from the water. A deep gash exposed his skull where it had struck the unyielding concrete. Paramedics
Yuck.
stabilized his neck and applied pressure to the wound. His vital signs were weak, present as they loaded him into an ambulance. Doctors at the University of
my
Alberta Hospital
goodness.
found that the impact had caused severe trauma to his brainstem and cerebellum.
Poor
Chalabashvili was placed
guy.
on life support in the intensive care unit. For 9 days, he remained in a deep coma, showing no signs of neurological activity. Despite aggressive medical intervention, the damage was irreversible. His brain had been critically injured at the moment of impact.
Oh,
On
my
August 7th,
goodness.
1983, Sergei Chalabashvili's heart stopped beating. He died without ever regaining consciousness.
Wow.
His promising career and young life ended
That
by a
is
split-second
so
miscalculation.
heartbreaking. That
Collision
is
with the
so
machine.
sad.
On February 22nd, 1992, the crisp mountain air of Les Arcs,
1992,
France, was filled with
France?
anticipation as athletes prepared for the speed skiing competition at the Albertville Winter Olympics.
Albertville.
Bochita, a 27-year-old Swiss
Olympics.
competitor, was among the favorites in this
Speed
demonstration sport, where
skiing.
skiers regularly exceeded 125
Their
miles per hour down
helmets
specially
are always
prepared slopes.
so
The morning
interesting.
was perfect for training. Clear visibility, firm snow conditions, minimal wind. Bochita
Okay.
and several teammates
at
decided to
their
take
helmets.
a warm-up run before the day's official practice. They set out on a marked trail
All pointy
adjacent
and
to the
long in the
competition
back.
course,
It's like
building speed
aerodynamic.
gradually as they descended. Bochita accelerated into a gentle depression in the slope, his body in the
Okay.
aerodynamic tuck position that speed skiers use to minimize wind resistance.
Okay.
His specialized suit and helmet were designed for maximum velocity.
Yes.
At approximately 68 miles per hour, he
Ooh.
approached a small rise in the terrain. As he crested the hill, Bochita had
He-
no time to react.
Did he go airborne
Snowcat,
or what?
a large machine used for
No,
grooming
it's
ski
right on the other
slopes,
side?
was parked directly in his path.
No.
The machine had been maintaining a service road that intersected with the training run. No warning
He just
signs or
slammed
barriers
into
had been
the
placed
back
to
of
alert
it?
skiers. The impact was devastating. Bochita's body struck the metal vehicle with tremendous force. His
He
momentum
was
carried
going 68 miles per hour right before crashing into this thing with no car around him. No, oh my gosh, oh my
him
gosh.
into the machine's steel frame and treads. The sound of the collision alerted nearby skiers and course workers, who rushed to the scene. Medical personnel arrived within minutes, but there was nothing they could do. The trauma to Bochita's head, chest, and internal organs was immediate and fatal. The impact had
my
caused massive
goodness.
internal hemorrhaging and multiple compound fractures. He died instantly upon collision.
I bet.
Spectators and fellow competitors
Absolutely
gathered at the scene,
instant.
many in tears as news of the accident spread. Olympic officials quickly announced the postponement of all speed
Why would
skiing
that truck
events.
be there?
Flags at the Olympic venues were lowered to half-mast. An investigation later revealed critical failures in communication between course officials and maintenance crews.
Why were they maintaining it with like, and it's like on a blind
and was unaware athletes would be using the training run that
couldn't
morning.
see it.
Spectacle silence.
Oh my gosh.
On March 15, 1971, a modest crowd gathered in the small Belgian town of Retail to watch a local cycling race. Montserrat, the reigning world champion, stood out immediately in his distinctive rainbow
I love
jersey,
the name.
the coveted garment awarded only to world champions. At just 22 years old, he was already considered one of cycling's brightest stars. The race was a minor event on the Belgian calendar, nothing like the major classics or grand tours where Montserrat normally competed. For him, it was a chance to build form early in the season while racing close to home. The 10-kilometer circuit wound through narrow country roads lined with spectators enjoying the first hints of spring. Montserrat quickly established himself at the front of the race. His powerful pedal stroke and professional positioning in the peloton made him easy to spot, even without the distinctive
that's where
jersey.
peloton
As he
gets their
approached
name.
the 4th kilometer of the course, he was riding confidently near the front of a small breakaway group. The road ahead appeared clear. Race marshals had blocked most intersections, but not all local residents had been properly notified about road closures. A small bridgeway car suddenly appeared on the course, driven by an elderly man who was unaware of the ongoing race.
Oh my
the vehicle moved directly into the path of the oncoming cyclist. Other riders swerved frantically. Montserrat, positioned on the outside of the group, had nowhere to go. His bicycle struck the car's front bumper at approximately 30 miles per hour. The impact launched him over the handlebars. Montserrat's body hit the windshield before being thrown onto the asphalt. His helmet, basic leather protection
I wonder how fast the guy was driving.
Provided minimal protection. Spectators screamed as they witnessed the world champion lying motionless on the pavement. Blood pooled beneath his head.
Oh no.
Medical assistance arrived within minutes. A doctor from the crowd immediately began resuscitation efforts as race officials radioed for an ambulance. Despite their desperate attempts, Montserrat's injuries were too severe. The impact had caused severe trauma to his skull and cervical spine. At 4:15 p.m., less than 30 minutes after the collision, Jean-Pierre Montserrat was pronounced dead at the scene. The rainbow jersey, cycling's most prestigious symbol, was stained with the blood of its youngest champion. Olympic heat miscalculation. On July 14th, 1912, spectators gathered along the marathon road
this
to
is
Stockholm Olympics.
way back.
Lázaro, a 21-year-old Portuguese runner, was among the 68 competitors prepared to tackle the 26.2-mile course. The weather conditions were unusually brutal for Sweden. Temperatures reached 89 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity and no cloud cover. Before the race, Lázaro made a critical decision based on faulty medical understanding of the time.
Trust me,
I'm a doctor. He covered large portions of his body with a thick layer of suet, animal fat typically used for cooking. This was common practice among some athletes who believed it would prevent sunburn and reduce water loss through the skin. At 1:45 p.m., the marathon began.
never heard of that.
Lázaro started conservatively, settling into a steady rhythm as the pack made its way through Stockholm's streets. Spectators noted his determined expression as he passed the early checkpoints.
Oh my
For
heavens,
the first 10
he's locked
kilometers,
in.
he appeared strong and composed. As the race progressed, the temperature continued to climb. By the 25-kilometer mark, many runners were showing visible signs of heat distress. Lázaro began to struggle. His pace slowed. Witnesses reported seeing him stagger slightly, his gait becoming irregular. The suet coating, rather than protecting him, was preventing his body from cooling through natural perspiration. At the 30-kilometer mark, near the town of Sollentuna, Lázaro suddenly veered to the side of the road. His legs buckled beneath him. He collapsed onto the dusty surface, unconscious. Race officials and medical personnel rushed to his aid. His skin was alarmingly hot to the touch, yet completely dry. Doctors at the scene recognized the symptoms of severe hyperthermia. Lázaro's core temperature had risen to dangerous levels. His pulse was rapid but weak. Despite having water poured over him and being transported quickly to a nearby medical facility, his condition deteriorated rapidly. For several hours, medical staff fought to lower his temperature and restore fluid balance. His organs began shutting down one by one as the accumulated heat damage spread throughout his system. His heart, already strained from the race, could not sustain the additional stress. At 7:30 a.m. the following day, Francisco Lázaro died without regaining consciousness. He became the first athlete to die during competition in the modern Olympic Games. The autopsy revealed extreme dehydration and electrolyte imbalances that led to multiple organ failure. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on screen now and make sure to subscribe.
Okay, well, now I have a bunch of new things to be scared and afraid of. Make sure to go show the Painful Explainer some love. And if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.